Welcome to Vet Fraternity. Today we are going to start our lecture series on canine and feline veterinary ophthalmology. In that series, this is the first lecture that is going to be an introductory type of a lecture where we are going to see the structure of an eye. Basically, before starting studying all the diseases, you need a glimpse or a small overview on the structures that exist in the eye. So, starting with that, the first thing is eyelids. So, the eyelids are the folds of the skin that slide across the surface of the cornea and the blinking movement of the eyelids basically help distribute protective tear film on the corneal surface, and they remove the debris. With that comes the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is basically the mucous membrane that is continuous from the inner surface of the eyelid to the surface of the globe. The next thing we have with us is cornea and sclera. So this is cornea and this is sclera. Cornea and sclera are basically, they are called as fibrous tunics of the globe, and they provide the structural support for the globe. Cornea allows light penetration, and the corneal epithelium, when injured, is completely renewed every 5 to 7 days. This point is very important, especially when we will study the topic of corneal ulceration. The next thing we have is uvea. Basically, uvea or uveal tract is called as vascular tunic of the globe. If you see this picture, basically there are three structures: iris, ciliary body, and chorioid. Let's get back to this picture again. Here you can see the iris, you can see the ciliary body, and you can see the chorioid. This is iris. So if I encircle, this is iris, this is the ciliary body, and this hole on the back, this portion is chorioid. So basically these three together make the uveal tract. When we talk about iris or ciliary body, basically we are talking about anterior uveal tract, and their inflammation is called as anterior uveitis. When we are talking about ciliary body and chorioid, basically we are talking about posterior uveal tract, and that their inflammation is called as posterior uveitis. And if the whole three things are going to get inflamed, that is called as pan-uveitis. When we will study the topic of uveitis, we will see that again and in detail. Okay. The next thing we have with us is lens. Lens, basically the purpose of lens is to refract the light on the retina and provide the focus. It is a biconvex avascular structure. And there is one more thing, that there are muscles, ciliary muscles in the eye. Basically, they change the shape or position of the lens, thus facilitating accommodation or focus. Basically, this thing, the muscles changing the shape of the lens needs not to be focused much over here, because this is a very important thing, but when we will study the central nervous system, in that system, when we will see we will do the ophthalmic exam based on the fact that the animal is getting any nervous diseases. With that, when the muscle contraction and all of these, the cranial nerves, they start to get damaged, how the lens shape and their reflexes are being changed. So those details are going to be discussed there, but you must remember here just the one thing, that see, there are muscles in the eye that can easily alter the shape of the lens. Next thing we have with us is that the lens, since they are avascular, so their response to injury is usually limited. Like if the lens is going to be injured, its response is limited to hydropic swelling or degeneration of the lens fibers and attempts at regeneration. But all these changes are going to result in a variably severe cataract. that is broadly defined as the opacification of the lens. And this is the topic, the cataract, we are going to see in detail in our further lectures. The next thing we have with us is vitreous. Vitreous is basically like clear elastic hydrogel within the eye, and it covers approximately 80% volume of the globe. It is uh, composed almost entirely of water, 99%, and the remaining 1% is like collagen, hyaluronic acid, and some other dispersed cells. The next thing we have with us is retina and optic nerve. Basically, retina transduces the visible light into electrical or neuronal impulses, which are transmitted to the visual cortex of the brain. Let me show you this image. Okay, like the light will fall, it will fall on the retina, and the retina will convert that visible light into electrical neuronal impulses. They will go into the brain, and there the visual image is formed in the visual cortex. The retina basically has photoreceptors, rods, and cones that also contain photopigment that will help convert light energy into neuronal signals. One thing you should remember here is about the tapetum lucidum, because it is a structure that is present in all domestic animals except for pigs, and it is a specialized layer located only dorsal to optic nerve and serves to reflect light that has already passed through the retina, further stimulating photoreceptors and improving vision in low light. Like, what does it mean? That the light that falls on retina but not absorbed by photoreceptors is reflected by the tapetum lucidum, and that stimulates the photoreceptors a second time. So with that, what happens that vision efficiency increases in low light. And the last thing we have with us is about the bony orbits. Okay, you should remember about the bony orbits in cats and dogs and other animals. The only exception is the dogs, basically. Like, in dogs, the bony orbits are incomplete. You can see the space in between over here, like this space, and this space. So the bony orbit, unlike other animals who have a complete bony orbit, like this is going to be whole circle, dogs do not have a complete bony orbit. They have in between space left. Either it doesn't matter they are brachycephalic, metacephalic, or dolichocephalic, the dogs are going to have this space in between. But if we see the other animals, like this is the cat right in front of you, or we have the horse skeleton in front of us, in these animals, what we have, the orbit is a complete whole orbit, but in the dog we have a space here between. That is the difference between the dog and other species bony orbits. So that was all about a basic intro about the structure or anatomy of the eye. I hope it will help you a lot while studying deeply in the other topics, or the detailed diseases that we are going to see in the next lectures. So that was all about it. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Best of luck.